Good afternoon, Big Brother fans. It is still Monday, July 26th, and boy, oh boy, did I pull a bit of a snafu this morning, and I missed a whole bunch of news that I'd kind of heard about, but I had forgotten. So I want to straighten that out this afternoon. Problem is too much of this, and I'll not have much to talk about tomorrow. But things always happen. So, this morning, I said, the power veto wasn't going to get used, and Brent was oblivious and thought things were going his way, which is kind of the truth. That is what is kind of going on. Kind of, okay? And that's where it kind of gets a little bit, what do I want to say? A bit hard to explain. And frankly, I'm going to cheat here because I got confused and screwed up, and as I'm driving and can't have notes to look at very easily unless I take the time to write them down and everything, I'm actually going to reread for you at least highlights from Twitter account BBX BRANDED BBX Branded. I believe it's a she, although I won't say 100%. The avatar is of Claire, but I'm going to go with the she. Matter of fact, let me look at the account. Hang on 1 millisecond here. Let's look. It just says nothing. No profile or anything. Just 30 following, and it has 1,650 followers. So, and I'm one of the ones they follow. So that's nice, except for I kind of was giving out poorly worded information earlier today. Let me give you the replay of what I said. So I left you guys this morning going like, the power veto is not going to get used. Brent thinks he's safe, but I think he's starting to have little suspicions, or I think he'll figure it out. Blah 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 blah. Whatever I said. Then I'm sitting there eating lunch, and Alyssa comes down from upstairs and tells Brent that his name came up, and then you see Brent go dropping the F-bomb and being all concerned. And so the weird thing, and so I was like, wait a minute, is Alyssa spoiling it to Brent? And this is where I screwed up, that I didn't know Alyssa was supposed to, as an elaborate scheme, supposed to tell Brent that his name was getting dropped. And this is all a design to throw Xavier under the bus and make Brent think that he's going to have the vote. The long and short of it is they are actually pulling this really elaborate scheme to make Brent think he's safe, to make Brent think that they're going to get the votes, let Xavier think that Brent is going, and then they're going to flip it and throw the votes and get rid of Brittany, and Brent will stay, and then Xavier will be the next target, all right? If that seems like a lot of work when in reality Brent is going home, I agree with you. And part of me is like, well, this is what happens when you are so confident about who you're getting out for a couple of weeks. You're just like, let's have some fun with it. Let's see how many, twists we can put on this little thing. So, but I actually bought into it, and I thought Brent really was figured out that he was going to go up. And so I kind of set a panic going among some of my followers saying, oh my gosh, Brent just found out, and I feel bad. And I got corrected by several people, one of them being BBX Branded, and so I'm giving that person credit. But there were a couple others that also pointed it out to me, and again, I felt rather stupid and sheepish, but it does happen occasionally. I am known to make mistakes, and this is one of those, and so we're trying to set the record straight. All right, so here's what BBX Brandon said. Now, I am quoting her tweets. Follow along with me, and it's all written fairly well, but again, if you get confused, don't feel bad. I was confused too. I already retweeted this thread, by the way, so I've already retweeted it out there to share it and saying, look, I got it wrong. Here's the explanation, but here we go. All right. This is what BBX Brandon said about 5 hours ago to me, or to my thread. Essentially, there are two big plans happening. So, plan number one, this is the way it reads. One, the entire house is voting Brent out, right? That's the plan. They want Brent blindsided, so everybody is going to keep lying to him. We kind of knew that. It was like, well, let's just not tell him he's going. That way he doesn't drive us insane and he's not scrambling too much. So we're all going to lie to him, but we're all going to vote him out, right? That's the standard weekly route. This is where the hingy, where it gets a bit crazy, creative and headachy. Brent came up with his own master plan after he thought the veto was going to get used. So Brent thought the veto was going to get used on Brittany, and that Derek X would go up as a replacement, and he, maybe worried that Derek X would stay over him. Obviously, as we know, that was never the plan, but Derek was worried about that. So, Brent, remember this morning, those of you that listen know I talked about the Mafia Alliance and the, not the Royal Flush, not the Detectives. Damn it, what's the other alliance? The other fake alliance. The Mafia and mental health, mental break. That's it. The Radicals. I just had to sit there and pause it and screw up my brain for a second. Okay, so Mafia and the Radicals are not real alliances, but Brent thinks they are, and he's a member of both of them. So he came up with this plan to get. Oops. Well, there we go. Things are acting funky for me. His plan was to get the Queens, the Queen Alliance. The Queen Alliance is Claire and Kyland and Tiffany, to meet with the Kings, which they've done. Pardon me. And tell them that they would vote out Brent, so the veto would not be used on Brent. This is all, of course, a silly ruse. And even though it happened, Brent thinks it was done at his bidding, not at their own bidding. So Brent thinks that the Queens are lying to the Kings, and that the Queens that they're not going to use that they talked him out of using the power of veto, and then they're going to vote out Brittany, right? But again, we know that the Kings and the Queens are working together, aka Royal Flush plus Derek. But his goal was to get them to not use it by getting the Queens to go up, and of course they said, "Sure, we'll do that." Okay, so this is the part that I didn't even know about at all. Brent also, according to BBX branded, Brent also wanted to test Alyssa to see if she'd tell Brent the Queens want to vote him out. In other words, remember, Alyssa is on the Kings. So the Queens are going up and talking to the Kings and saying, let's not vote out Brent. Let's not use the veto. No, let's not use the veto and let's vote out Brent, okay? And so he was testing Alyssa to see if she would feed this information back to him. Well, Alyssa is not working with Brent, even though Brent thinks she is. So they arranged for Brent, or for Alyssa, to actually tell Brent. And that's what I heard about this morning. So again, Brent doesn't believe the Queens would really vote him out. So his plan, that's because he's the one doing this. So Kyland told Alyssa to tell Brent about the meeting so that Brent keeps trusting Alyssa. And that is what Alyssa did, and that's what we witnessed, was Alyssa telling Brent, "Oh yeah, there was a meeting last night, and the Queens want to get rid of you, but we're not going to let that happen." Right? That's what all is going on. That is this elaborate scheme they are coming up with to keep Brent fooled to the end. And so the question becomes, are they going to spoil it? Are they going to let Brent know? I don't know. They said that Xavier instructed them, no, let's not reveal it like they were talking about. I knew they were talking about letting him know at some point, but then they said, no, let's, like, really close to the eviction. It's like, nope, let's not do it. Let's save it for your goodbye messages, and we'll just let him get blindsided. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It all sounds good until somebody decides to go against the plan. And I could easily see them deciding to go against the plan. I just could. It happens a lot. They start to feel bad for Brent, or they don't want to. You don't want to be on Brent. If everybody blindsides Brent, then if it's unanimous to get rid of Brent, well, then everybody was in on it, and of course that's the one thing. Brent will hold a grudge, but will Brent hold a grudge against everybody, or just the people that promised their loyalty to him? I don't know. I would say the latter. And so those are the people that might be worried about it and might throw him sympathy vote or might let him know ahead of time what was happening. So, that is all of that. That is the power veto stuff, or the after power veto stuff that was confusing and I messed up people on. So, yeah, the power veto was not used. Brent still thinks he's safe. Brent is promising in the next week. I actually watched Brent and Hannah and Derek X sitting on a chair out in the backyard talking about next week and what they're going to do and all this. And, Brent is, of course, making all these wild plans and how things are going to work and everything. And Hannah is just completely humoring. We're like, yeah, that's what we'll do. Yes, that makes sense. And just completely humoring him. So, yeah. We'll see if it happens. I just wonder. I just don't think it will. So that's it. That was the major update that I kind of bombed this morning. Other than that, not much to tell you. I don't think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And no, I don't think so. Not really. So that's it. Short one. That's 11 minutes. You guys have a good one. Those of you that missed my morning one, you can go back and listen to it. I did talk about other things to a certain extent. I talk about the gameplay in general. But definitely this was important to get out here as soon as possible today. So thanks again for listening. Thank you to my patrons. Got another new patron since I talked to you this morning. Annie. I'm going with Annie. It's Aanne. Actually, it's probably Ann, just with an N-E, or just with two N's and an E. So if it's Ann, if it's Annie, I'm going to guess it's probably Ann now that I said that. Thank you very much. Again, Eric replied, was a re-up, and replied and was said happy to help, kind of thing, or that all nice stuff. So I appreciate that, Eric. And everybody else that's become a patron, very cool of you. Thank you. If you're interested, you can go to patreon.com/BBGOSSIP and whatever you want. $1, $5, $3, $2. I don't care. Anything is cool. Even more than that is even cooler, but I'm not going to I'm not going to be mad one way or the other. Any little amount is very cool and helpful. The other thing is my Vegas highlights. I did upload the first episode, I think this morning or yesterday, whenever it was. I will upload the second one probably this evening, and I may record a third one while I am out walking the pooch, provided I get home and feel up to it. Right now I feel like going home and taking a nap, but that may be because I did a bad thing, and I was going home to an empty house. My wife isn't home. She's out visiting a friend, and she won't be home till later, and so I went to Panda on my way home and had Panda. Oh my gosh. It's so good, but it's just not what I should be eating right now. Which is why I'm going to go home and I really should walk the dog, because I need to walk off some of these calories that I just consumed. I just love the orange chicken. I did have beef and broccoli too, but there you go. I had two things. I should have just gotten like the beef and broccoli on white rice or on the power greens, but I didn't. I got orange chicken, white rice, and beef and broccoli, which is just way too many calories. I was dieting to diet to get down to a weight, but now that I've been out to Vegas, I'm like, do I need to keep doing it? Yes, I do. I need to keep dieting. I'm going to keep going down until I'm more at a slightly lower weight than this. All right, that's it. Now I'm out of here. See ya. Thanks for listening, everybody, again. We'll talk to you later. Bye.